What was the land given to the tribes of Simeon and Zebulun? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Joshua on Walking Through the Bible.
His word, the glory of his cross.
Today we're going to be discussing Joshua 19, verses 1 to 16. Before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, turn to Joshua 19, verse 1. But if you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So Joshua chapter 19, beginning at verse 1. The second lot came out for Simeon, for the tribe of the children of Simeon according to their families. And their inheritance was within the inheritance of the children of Judah. They had in their inheritance Beersheba, Sheba, Moladah, Hazar Shual, Bela, Ezim, Eltolad, Bethel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth Markaboth, Hazar Susa, Beth Labaoth, and Sherulin, 13 cities and their villages, Ain, Rimmon, Ether, and Ashan, 4 cities and their villages, and all the villages that were around these cities as far as Baalath Beer, Ramah of the south. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Simeon according to their families. The inheritance of the children of Simeon was included in the share of the children of Judah, for the share of the children of Judah was too much for them. Therefore the children of Simeon had their inheritance within the inheritance of that people. The third lot came out for the children of Zebulun according to their families, and the border of their inheritance was as far as Sered. Their border went towards the west and towards Maralah, went to Dabasheth, and extended along the brook that is east of Jokneam. Then from Sered it went eastward toward the sunrise along the border of Chithloth-tabor, and went out towards Dabarath, bypassing Japhia. And from there it passed along the east of Gath-Hepher towards Eth-Kazin, and extended to Rimmon, which borders on Neah. Then the border went out around on the north side of Hanathon, and ended in the valley of Jephthah, El. Included were Katath, Naliel, Shimron, Idalah, and Bethlehem, 12 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the children of Zebulun according to their families, these cities with their villages. In our last lesson, we began looking at the distribution of the land given to the final 7 tribes of Israel yet to receive land, looking specifically at the tribe of Benjamin. Benjamin's land was land given between Ephraim and Judah, fulfilling the blessing of Moses found in Deuteronomy 33, verse 12, which said that Benjamin would be protected by God between his shoulders, with that protection coming from the 2 major tribes in Israel, Judah and Ephraim. Coming now to chapter 19, we're going to get to the final 6 tribes. The way we're going to cover these 6 tribes is by looking at 2 tribes per lesson until we finish the chapter. The first one up is the one whom the next lot came to, which was the tribe of Simeon. If you recall back to Genesis chapter 49, verses 5 to 7, we find that Jacob said, Simeon and Levi are brothers, instruments of cruelty are in their dwelling place. Let not my soul enter their council, let not my honor be united to their assembly. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they hamstrung an ox. Cursed be their anger, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. The reason Jacob spoke these words was because Simeon and Levi killed the men of Shechem in the incident with their sister Dinah, but they did so deceptively by getting the men of Shechem to believe that peace could be had if they circumcised themselves, only to have Simeon and Levi kill them all while the men were healing from the procedure. It is for that reason that Levi and Simeon were to be divided in Israel and scattered in Jacob. Levi already wasn't going to receive land as an inheritance, for they were the priests, but here we find that Simeon is only going to receive land that had already been given to Judah. In other words, they were going to be surrounded by Judah on all sides. The reason this was done was because the land given to Judah was too much for her, so it is evident that Judah willingly gave some land to their brethren from this tribe. Of the cities given to Simeon, only 3 really stand out as being important, either in our past studies or future studies. The cities of Beersheba, Hormah, and Ziklag. Beersheba is the city which we saw back in Genesis 21:31 as one of the places where Abraham and Isaac dug wells. Hormah is the city we saw back in Numbers 14:45 as the city where Israel was driven back to by the Canaanites on their failed attempt to take Canaan. And Ziklag is the city from 1 Samuel 27, verse 6, as a residence of David. When it comes to the tribe of Simeon itself, we're not going to read of it much more in the Old Testament, except in passing, as the people, though still existing as distinct, really do get swallowed up by Judah, especially after the division into two nations. Thus, Jacob's prophecy came to pass. Moving north to the region that would be Galilee in the New Testament, we come to the land given to the tribe of Zebulun. We have discussed before that the borders for this tribe are not entirely sure. For some of the cities we can't locate with absolute certainty today. However, we do know of the general area of the tribe. Zebulun itself would have had borders with the tribes of Manasseh and Issachar to the south and east, and Asher and Naphtali to the west and north. Of the cities in Zebulun that are notable, there aren't any of note for our future studies. However, there is one that we might think we recognize, which is Bethlehem. But this isn't the Bethlehem that Jesus was born in, for that would be in the south in Judah. This was another Bethlehem. Even with this being true, there is a famous city that would later exist in the land of Zebulun, and this is the city of Nazareth, the hometown of Jesus. So knowing that this city exists here will help add to our understanding about the land of Israel in the days of Jesus. The tribe of Zebulun will become important in our study of Deborah in the book of Judges, so please make a note of that. With that, our time is up for today. Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Joshua chapter 19, verses 17 to 31, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.